Okay. Hello, everyone. So today I'm going to talk to you about how I work to make samples and take measurements in order to understand the electronic properties of samarium hexaboride. Our lab was interested in studying two very unique metals, the first of which, superconductors, when lowered to really low temperatures, show zero resistance. Topological insulators, on the other hand, insulate perfectly in their bulk, and then they can conduct on their surface. Both of these types of metals are really interesting because they have strongly correlated electrons. In the topological condo insulator, samarium hexaboride, we don't fully understand these strong correlations, and so it makes it enticing for us to want to study it. On the right, I have a diagram of the density of states versus energy. The solid regions represent the electrons in the metal. The left side is a normal metal, the right side is a superconductor, and the space in between represents an insulating barrier. When we apply a voltage, the electrons in the normal metal are able to jump to the superconductor, and we call this quantum tunneling. So we make tunnel junctions in order to observe the quantum tunneling and learn more about the properties. So I spent the first half of my summer making samples and learning how to do all the steps. So one of the first things I made was an aluminum lead tunnel junction, which are pretty well understood. So this was really a learning experience for me so that I knew I was making high quality junctions. The way that I did this was by first cutting, cleaning, and preparing a sapphire substrate. I would then evaporate a metal onto the surface. This is the bottom electrode and a normal metal. In this example, it's aluminum. And then would oxidize the surface to create that insulating barrier, and also paint the edges with an insulator to make sure that there's no points of contact with the top electrode, which I then deposited. And these metals are evaporated in a vacuum chamber. So the last thing is evaporating lead, which is a superconductor, on top. After this is done, I was able to attach wires and take measurements of the sample. In order to expand this to the new material, samarium hexaboride, we first start by polishing the crystal and cleaning it really well, then put it in a vacuum chamber, lower it to really low pressure. We use argon ion beam etching to remove impurities from the surface. And then we use plasma to oxidize the surface and create that insulating barrier. And then I took it out and would paint the insulating material on the edges again, and then put it in a vacuum chamber and deposit the top electrode lead. So by doing this, we were able to take some really neat measurements and learn or gather some data that's new about samarium hexaboride. Here on the top, both top two graphs are from the aluminum lead samples, which we had expected results for. So by taking these measurements, we were able to know that the tunnel junctions were of good quality. The top left graph is the conductance versus the applied voltage. The orange line shows some features of lead while it's superconducting, and the blue line is when we apply a magnetic field and make the lead behave as a normal metal instead of a superconductor. On the right, I have a second harmonic measurement of this. And so this is like kind of a derivative of the first, but we actually take this measurement straight from the sample by using a lock-in technique. And so these humps are related to the electron-electron correlations in the superconductor. And so once we knew that these were really like high quality and we had a good process, I was able to start following the same procedures with samarium hexaboride, which is the material we know less about. So in the bottom left, the orange line is the samarium hexaboride and lead tunnel junction. And so there's some peaks here that we don't fully understand and are a little different than the aluminum lead tunnel junction. And then the blue line is again when we apply a magnetic field and drive the lead to be normal. And then in the bottom right, we have that second harmonic measurement again, which is really what we were after. This, we have a lot of peaks here that we really we don't fully understand. And so the goal is to really understand these more, but this is a new measurement. And so we're really excited because this is helping us characterize the material and hasn't really been done before. So the lab is going to focus on continuing to study and analyze samarium hexaboride by taking field and temperature dependence and also testing other electrodes with it. I am really happy to have been able to contribute to this in a small way. Samarium hexaboride is a really interesting material, and it's definitely exciting that we were able to take these high quality measurements. It's thought to potentially be a candidate for qubits in quantum computers in the future, and so that's really exciting. And I'm happy to have been a part of it. And I want to thank everyone in my lab for teaching me a ton of things. I had no experimental experience before this, and also just supporting me along the way. So yes, thank you.